Alright, it's time for another Patron request for Jeanette Spevak, who requested that I review one of three movies, but the one that I liked the most. And My Dear Killer of the three she listed is the one I liked the most, so we will be reviewing this one. This movie came out in 1972, and this is an Italian and I think also Spanish co-production. Uh, Italian Giallo. Following the mysterious decapitation of an insurance investigator, Police Inspector Peretti is put onto the case, but all the clues lead to an unsolved case of kidnapping and murder the year prior. This is from director Tonino Valerii. I've not seen anything else he worked on. Looks like he did a lot of like action, western, cowboy stuff. My Name is Nobody. So not much in the horror genre to list. And this movie stars George Hilton, who's done a lot of other Giallo films, such as The Case of the Bloody Iris, which is Jeanette's favorite movie from '72, and The Case of the Scorpion's Tail, All the Colors of the Dark, and The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. A lot of those movies also star Edwiga Finesh, probably butchering that pronunciation. And shockingly, she's not in this movie, being George Hilton's wife, like she always is. She's in all those other movies that he's in, also, playing like his wife. And in case you're wondering where you can watch this movie, you can watch it on YouTube for free. Somebody was kind enough to upload it, and it's like 1080p HD, looks like a Blu-ray transfer. It's pretty good. So getting into what I like about this movie is the opening of this movie has a terrific, shocking, out of nowhere, hilarious kill involving some construction vehicle that's meant for dredging, I guess. That's what they're using it for in this case. They're trying to dredge this lake, and this claw comes down and picks the guy up and just decapitates him. But not right away. He's like hanging in the air, kicking his legs, swinging, trying to get his head free, and then the thing just drops him and he hits the ground, and then his head hits the ground like a second later and rolls into the lake. Hilarious, awesome open. Great way to start the movie. I was like, all right, I'm on board. I liked George Hilton as the lead detective and the lead character in the movie, and I thought he just did a good job. I liked his character. He's pretty smart, but not like egotistical. He's not like that one guy in like on the Nile. He's not that kind of investigator who just thinks highly of himself. He isn't a typical like one note investigator where everything that comes out of his mouth is just work related. We get to see his life at home. He's going through some relationship issues with his wife, and I like how the case is like disturbing his sex life. He can't stop thinking about work, and so in the middle of sex one night, he's just like, "Wait a minute, I just thought of something else." And I like how the wife actually ends up helping him solve the case accidentally. And this movie checks a few boxes that you expect in a giallo that I like: the POV, the black gloved killer, and some stalking. And I love what's probably the signature kill in this movie. It's on some of the posters, and that's the electric saw kill. It's pretty brutal. It's not ultra gory. It just looks like it's spraying blood onto her rather than making her bleed, but it's still pretty nice to see a great kill that isn't just a simple throat slit. And lastly, I dug the score of the film. They don't overuse this theme like Who Saw Her Die. This theme is kind of similar sounding to that one, except that one's more like echoey. This one sounds like it's ghostly, like it's a dead kid singing. It's kind of haunting and it fits the story. I really liked it. They didn't use it too much. In Who Saw Her Die, I know I'm not supposed to be talking about that movie, but I just watched it last, so it's fresh on my mind. That score of the movie was played so much that it actually like hurts the movie. I fucking couldn't stand it. I wanted to mute my TV. Getting into some dislikes, first thing I want to nitpick here is this movie has one of the most unpassionate kisses between a husband and wife on film I've ever seen. There is one moment early on when they have like this argument at a dinner table, and then they go in the other room and start to make out and have sex, but when they're kissing each other, They're not even moving their lips. It looks like they're just bumping heads. It's so fucking painfully awkward. This isn't maybe the film's fault, but just me. But I just couldn't keep up with the investigation. I could not retain all the information. There was a lot of name dropping. I was like, who's that again? Like, I just didn't know who was who. I couldn't predict who the killer was because they didn't really make anyone red herrings. It seemed like anyone in this movie could have been the killer. And I thought they were trying to maybe suggest that there was going to be multiple killers, which I thought would have been a cool angle. I wish they actually would have went in that direction because of one scene in particular where the guy goes to the witnesses like, hey, what did the person look like? And he gets like 3 separate descriptions that are completely different from the other. One person's like, oh, it was a short, pudgy person. And the other one's like, no, it was a tall, thin dude who was bald. And it's like, oh, are they saying there's going to be like multiple killers? That would be interesting. But no, it's one killer, and I couldn't predict who it was because, like I said, there was like no like red herrings being established, so I could not, for the life of me, predict who the killer was going to be or what even the motivation would be. And then at the climax of the movie, when it's finally revealed who this killer was, it just fizzles out. The movie does not get exciting. There's no like chase or fight. It's just like, all right, here's who did it. Here's why. Arrest that person. All right, roll credits. It's like, oh, that's it? Usually in these movies, there's a fight, some kind of chase, and they kill the killer in some elaborate way or do something crazy. They always seem to end up on a rooftop and then some fake dummy falls off. Not in this case. It's pretty underwhelming. And because I'm a big like sound design person, I have to point out that this movie has some cheesy sound design that just took me out of the moment, especially during like one kill with a statue that's like banging against this dude's head. It just was not the right sound to use. So final thoughts, if you like Italian gialli, this is one that is definitely worth checking out. It's got some of the things that you would want and expect from a giallo. It's all about the investigation, and while I couldn't really follow the investigation that well, I wasn't ever really bored. I thought the pace was fine. So when it comes to My Dear Killer, I'll give it 3.5 out of 5. This is the part where I would normally do a spoiler discussion, but I honestly have nothing else to add here. That would be a spoiler. The only thing I can say is who the killer is, but why bother? I'm not going to. So just watch the movie. I recommend it. It's good. It's not the best giallo, but it's definitely a lot better than some of the other ones I've been watching lately. So what are your thoughts on My Dear Killer? If you have seen it, let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And remember, it's all opinion. You don't need to get butthurt about it.